Village, welcome to another episode of Womanhood Decoded, and I am your host, Tasha Ray. Each week, I hope to explore the intersections of womanhood, motherhood, and sexuality. Today, I am super excited to have in studio someone who has become a confidant, a friend, but outside of all of that, she is the one who gets my hair together week after week after week. So we're going to get into that. But before I introduce this week's guest, I wanted to let you all know that if you hear me sniffling and all of that, it's because my child has infected me with her germs. And when I tell you
This lady is something
that kid germs are next level in strength, I mean that.
Oh, yeah.
Additionally, I took medication and all of the boxes said non-drowsy. But I'm sitting here letting you know that I am fighting for my life to keep my eyes open. So we're going to do the best that we can.
Yes, ma'am.
So with that, welcome to the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tamia Yanique. I am the owner of Tamia Yanique's Hair Salon and Rejuvenate, which is my skincare company.
Okay, so step one, if you would let the audience know, because not everybody's from New York.
Okay.
So I want everyone to kind of know, what is it like when it comes to growing up in Brooklyn or being a Brooklyn girl or a BK girl? Can you give us some insight?
I feel like I'm actually very thankful to be from Brooklyn. It's a little rough. I'm a little rough around the edges myself, so I had to grow and, tighten up in certain areas. But Brooklyn is one of the best places to be from in New York. I don't care what nobody say. It molded me well. Book, street smart. And you get to have a little bit more opportunities, I feel like. So for me, those are the things that I actually do appreciate with being from Brooklyn. My different walks of life and growing up, the high schools that I went to actually was in Manhattan, but I still stayed in my stomping grounds. So
I love it. I love it. And the reason I say I love it is not just a shallow I love it. So I'm not for sure when I got bit by the New York bug, but I'm thinking it was somewhere around when my dorm was watching Friends.
okay.
Which was shot in New York, and then Carrie from Sex and the City.
Yes.
So in my mind, I was the Black Carrie because I always had a laptop and a camera. And even though I didn't get to write about the fun stuff in life, I felt that one day I would be in New York and I would get to live out all of my New York dreams.
Right.
And so I think, though, there is a misconception when it comes to what we see on television versus the real life.
Exactly.
So I want to know if you can give us a little bit of the real life parts of growing up in Brooklyn that we don't see when we watch the movies and the TV shows.
Well, what I can say a lot of the times with TV, is be based on so much love and like everyone being so welcoming, and it's not that. Like, if you're not from there, then we're gonna know that you're not from Brooklyn. Like, it's very obvious when people aren't from Brooklyn. New York overall goes so many different places. So, if we talk in New York or we talk in Brooklyn, you got Queens. It's different areas. You can always tell where somebody's from, kind of how they talk and how they dress. Like, Harlem people have a certain fit, Brooklyn have a certain fit. We have always categorized people by how they dress and how they talk and who they know and how they move around. And the difference from the television and real life is I don't want to say like it's crazy dangerous, but technically it is. And I feel like TV kind of, fictionalize that, like, oh yeah, you can just get up and just walk your dog. And yeah, probably now because of how things have changed, but before you could come outside and things get down. If you're not from there, that's just what it is. So that's what I can say. But I've never had any issues as far as that because of my family being known and me being who I am. Growing up, I wasn't always this girly girl and like glitzy and all of that stuff. So I never really had those problems. Thank God.
I think that one of the things that drew me to you, first of all, so I was in the park with my child.
Facts.
And I was feeling all of the things that I did not know at the time were signs or symptoms of postpartum depression.
Right. Same.
So for me, I was dealing with anxiety, but for me, the depression part didn't really kick in the traditional sense. It's not like I felt sad or hopeless. I just felt this sense of unease, and I felt stressed. And so in my mind, even though I didn't have any solutions, I felt, well, if I take her outside to the park,
right,
then I felt like I could at least escape the four walls of our apartment. And so I pushed her in the stroller, and you know that one of the things that women judge each other on is nails and hair.
right,
And being a new mom, my hair is something that had gone way by the wayside. And so I was wearing a lot of buns, and given the fact that I have a lot of hair, because my hair was in a bun, people didn't really look at me any sort of kind of way.
Right.
I didn't really get a lot of judgment.
Right, exactly.
However, I knew that my hair wasn't like I like it to be. And so I remember being in the park, and I was there with my daughter, and I was giving her snacks because, you know, my child loves to eat. And I remember looking over, and you had flyers in your hand, and you were handing them out. And tell the people about your flyers and the whole process.
Well, I met Tasha, what was that, like 5 years ago? Tasha probably didn't know. We probably both was going through our own postpartum and depression. And, you know, back to what you were saying about, you know, being depressed and not knowing, that's very possible because I didn't know either. You just so focused on being a mom. But when I met you, it wasn't like we, you know, like wasn't passing or bump. It was kind of like we kind of gravitated to each other. I don't know if because we both had babies in strollers or however. But at the time, I just was getting my feet back wet with doing hair again, more so because my son was getting older. Because before I was doing hair with him in a carrier and stuff like that while he was on my back and stuff. And I had got back out there and I made some little quick like flyers with my name on it. And me and Tasha were talking and she was like, it's so crazy because I've been looking for somebody to do my hair and I have the baby and is it okay for you to come to my house? And I'm like, girl, you good. Like, and that was one of the hardest things for me when I had my son was being able to make it to my hair appointments and my nail appointments because everybody has in their policy, oh, no children and this and that. And it's like, well, we are who support y'all, and I feel like we should be supported. So I've never shied away from my clients bringing their children or me being welcoming to their children being around while I assisted their hair. So, yeah.
Listen, when I tell you that, I mean, because I had attempted to go to the salon, I had made appointments, keyword plethora of appointments, and with an S. And every time I get there, I'm telling you, she will be fine. And then it's like something about the blow dryers and stuff, and that she wasn't a newborn, but she was like around 4 to 6 months around that time. And those blow dryers would start, and Isabella would get to yelling. And she didn't yell like that. And so I'm like, what is going on? Right. And so everybody would be like, just pick her up. It's probably her diaper. I'd pick her up, you know, try to calm her down. Isabella wasn't having it. So you saying that you could come to my home, gave me such a level of comfort, because outside of you, I don't know how my hair would have gotten done.
Okay.
And because again, I kept trying to go to the salon, but bringing my child, and then people, I feel like they have an attitude.
Yeah, they do.
When you come in and you have your child, I felt like there were people that were looking at me like, well, why you got the child here? Like I had a choice.
Right.
You know, like if I could have afforded daycare, or if I could have afforded,
Not just the price, the comfortability.
yes, the peace part is important.
I'm not
But
putting my baby in daycare too small.
I felt like the most amount of judgment with that. And I feel like when it comes to motherhood in general,
Right.
there are so many different ways that we find to nitpick with one another, whether it is about breastfeeding, whether it is about when your kid goes to daycare, whether it is about what you feed your child, what you don't feed your child. It's always like, it's like there's these things that puts us into categories.
Right.
So I was wearing Isabella, and I didn't even know it was a thing called baby wearing. I just was wearing her because I saw other people doing it, and then it was just something that was convenient for me
Right.
to do.
Right.
But they were like, I was at the grocery one time, and this lady, she was like, oh, you are a baby wearing mom. And I was just like, oh, is that a thing?
Yes.
And she was just like, yeah. She was just, and she showed me on her phone, like
Oh,
there was like a whole
gosh.
community, and it was baby wearing moms.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a such thing though.
That's a lot. And so, yes, for over 5 years now, you've been doing my hair.
Yes, I
And
am.
people are always complimenting me on saying how healthy it looks and all of this. And so also, I want you all to know, in case you were wondering, I am not at all a DIY girly. You know those ones that be on Instagram or Facebook, and they tell you, they take you from this to that? Listen, I can buy everything that they have in their video. My hair will never look like...
You gotta try. You're not trying. You gotta try for real and be determined.
Okay, so I have a lot of determination. Apparently, I don't have it when it comes to dealing with my hair. So I'm just so blessed to have you in my life.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So what I would like to know is, when you were sitting in class or just in life, and you were thinking about what you want to do to provide for yourself and later on for your son, I'm wondering, were you looking at other careers, or was it always hair for you?
Well, I'm gonna split that up because the first part was where I wanted to be before Kari was even a thought. I want to say I did shoot for hair just a little bit, and what happened was I feel like I shied away from hair a few times, because the thing about being an entrepreneur or doing things for others, people will criticize you. And for a while, especially because of how young I started doing hair, I was doing other people hair at like 11. Like, first of all, I had clients at like 11, seriously, no lie. And then I had clients again. I started back up at 15 once I got a little bit more into it. And, you know, I went to hair school, and then I stopped that as well. So around those times, I feel like being criticized kind of shied me away from pursuing that. As I grew older, and like with my mom pushing me to understand like that's a part of the process, and in order for you to get better, you have to be criticized. That's when I pushed more towards being a hairstylist and taking it serious. When I had my son, it kind of gave me no choice, because I was sitting at home, and it was like I was getting into this dark place, and I needed an outlet. You know, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I wasn't sending my son to no daycare before he knew how to talk, walk, any of that. And I had to do something. And I started doing my friends hair. And I met you, I swear, like literally a little right after. So I was doing that and selling stuff, and things just happened to pick up.
And when she says
And it
stuff,
made
she
me
means
stick
like
to it.
roses and very detailed things that take time, that it doesn't look like it's something somebody made. Because every time when I'm looking on your stories or looking at stuff, like just the level of creativity,
Thank you.
I feel like that comes sort of because of where you were born. Because, for example, like I've lived in different states, and the level of, I don't know, what is the word, ingenuity and, like I said, creativity, I don't see that in other places. And so I'm attributing a lot of what crafts who you are
And
from
where I'm from.
Yeah. Because, I mean, people, first of all, for example, in Tennessee, kids, I feel like, are given the opportunity to be kids in a lot of other places. But here, it's like there is this push that you got to succeed. And then I don't know if it's because so many different celebrities or high profile people come from New York, but it's like this thing, like if you're from New York, you gotta do something with yourself,
You know,
as opposed to how you feel like if you are from a different state.
well, I feel like we struggle. Like, and you have two choices when you're struggling. You either gonna get up and you're gonna do something about it, or you're gonna keep struggling and let time pass you by. So a lot of the times, being from New York and being from Brooklyn, it's like we struggle. Our parents struggle, and now I get what you pushing towards. I want to say, with me having to do what I have to do, that made me more driven. Like, I knew I wanted to dress a certain way. I knew I liked keeping my hair done. And my mom didn't always have it. And now it's like I have to figure something out. So it was like, yeah, I'm doing hair for $30. I'm doing this for $30. And I've always been very creative. I was always into everything when I was a little girl. I'm still into everything. I have my hands into everything. Like, it's no limits with me. I will always find a way to make money. So I am very thankful for my struggling and my process and whatever it is I had to go through to get to where I'm going. I don't want to say where I am, because I'm not where I fully want to be, but where I'm going, I had to go through that process. And I feel like a lot of the times, being from New York and being from Brooklyn, you have to have that hustle. You have to have that push. You have to be driven, or you just going to be stuck. Like,
In your circumstances.
yeah, you have to, I don't want to say you can't adapt to your surroundings. Like, I'm from the hood. If you adapt to your surroundings, you'll never get out of that. Like, you'll be stuck. You'll get comfortable. Like, you'll get comfortable being supplied by the government and things in that sort. And that's not what I want for my kid or for myself either. We've been there, we done that. So now I'm just pushing for more. Definitely.
I love your flair for language, first of all, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions and labels. So when you say, that you came from struggle or that you dealt with hardship, when you hear you speak, you don't hear that. You just hear the hunger, you hear the grind. I don't hear the woe, it's me. And then there was, at some point, there was this narrative that was being pushed that anybody that has ever been in need is somebody that is lazy. And you are the very opposite of lazy.
Right.
And, so, I mean, when I hear and I see those types of things, and then it's like I'm around people, I'm like, well, that's not true. Exactly. That is not true. And I feel like one of the things that I want to try to do with my platform is, I know I can't, change everything, but if I can change one mind especially when it comes to partnership. And that's what I want to transition to, the concept of partnership and collaboration, because I spoke about it on a previous podcast, and I think I'm going to continue to speak about it because there's this idea that is pervasive, particularly when it comes to entrepreneurship, that we never support one another, and that we're kind of have this crabs in a barrel mentality, that we don't want to see each other succeed.
Right.
And I feel like there is a level of that to some degree, but I see a lot more on the positive side as it pertains to people working together.
Right.
Versus this, all black women hate each other narrative.
So, oh gosh, I can think about this and say it in so many different ways. A lot of these girls, because I'm younger, so what I do, especially here, and being that social media is like the biggest platform right now, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I'm literally from the ground up. Like, from the ground, I probably got like 800 followers. 99% of my clientele is people who come to me over, it's no changing, none of that, because of how I treat people. A lot of the girls in my age group that also do the same thing that I do, whether it's hair, makeup, waxing, anything that has to do with cosmetology, have this it girl mentality. Everybody's in competition. Everybody they already was lit on Instagram or whatever, so, let's go to the lit girl because she's lit. Like, so that's when it becomes the crabs and the barrel thing. Oh, she do this and she do that, and she used to be a bottle girl and that's what it is. It's a bunch of young people with a young mind in competition. Whereas if we came together and we networked and we said, all right, cool, she do braids and she's good at sewings and she do makeup, and we all came together and we set up shop, it's so much money to be made. And to be rich is a mindset. And when a lot of people realize that, it would no longer be a competition. I feel like the youth, my generation, is in a box. Because you won't get far being like that. So I'm always open to knowing and learning more, and I don't want to be competing with anybody. I know that I'm good at what I do. I know that I change people's lives when I do their hair. Like, I have conversations with women every day. Every time I meet somebody, I used to work at Starbucks and meet people, and just conversation would take me so far. So I don't have that in me to be competitive in something that I know that I'm good at and I do different from the next woman. So that's how I feel about that situation.
Well, I want to say that what you are saying is resonating. I'm seeing messages on my phone and people are saying, preach, girl, preach. And I just love that what you were sharing, because I feel like if I would have gotten that message at your age, I know I would have been further along. But there was, speaking about generations, in my generation, it was this idea that you got to be the best, you got to be on an island. And when I say an island of solitude. Because the idea was, there's competition everywhere. And if you are in a line, you got to be the one with all the A's. And you got to be from such and such school. You got to speak a certain way. You got to wear certain clothes. And there are all these boxes and things that I was supposed to either check or avoid.
Right.
So the boxes I was supposed to check were obviously, school, and the ones I'm supposed to avoid, for example, teen pregnancy, for example. And it's funny at this point because
we avoided that.
I avoided it, but I still checked the single mom box. And that was not the box I was going for. That was not the box I was going for. But I say that because I feel like, regardless to how we get there, I want people to understand that there's a lot of different ways to get to where you're trying to go.
Right.
And even if you are going the way that you feel like is the right way, whatever way that is that somebody told you or that you learned in a book or whatever,
Exactly.
you're going to have to deal with some sort of challenge. You're going to have to overcome something. You're going to have to navigate around something. But I believe that when it comes to being limited in boxes, for example, entrepreneurship is kind of like one of those words where everybody is kind of clinging on to it. I feel like it's kind of like a buzzword.
Yeah.
And previous to now, being an entrepreneur was looked down upon. It was like, you know, you need to get a job, you need to be somewhere and be paying money into a 401k.
Right.
You know, you need to be somewhere where you can get a check every 2 weeks. But now, you know, because of, I don't know, social media and various other stuff
Yes.
on TV, it's like, be your own boss. And while I agree with the fact that you should be your own boss, I do see, just from my perspective, that there's value in either collaboration, partnership, or mentorship. And I feel like if you don't have people in your life that are capable of mentoring you, then you need to go through some sort of school or some sort of process so that you can best position yourself. Because I feel like if you believe that just because you're amazing at whatever it is, that that's going to be enough, you have to be amazing and you have to be consistent. And there's and.
Right.
But you're not going to know the ands unless somebody kind of shows you the way.
Right.
And so I just feel like collaboration, I know that, for example, navigating Instagram and stuff, you got that on lock. Like, listen,
Not really.
Listen,
I know how to do my little ones and twos.
Listen,
Content creation.
it's a whole,
Like, I gotta do your hair and make videos to get some money from it. This is crazy.
I'm looking
Too
at
much.
it like it's like
I'm
the
good.
reels and they keep changing and adding. Did you know you can make collages now? That's like a thing now.
I listen. I'm over it. Either you want the hair or you want the content at this point. Come get your hair done.
Right.
Like, I gotta do hair and I have to make content to go with it for
Yes.
you to book me.
Yes.
No, I got a portfolio. Here you go. Come look at this book.
Right.
But no, I honestly, people feel like entrepreneurship is like this easy thing. Like TikTok and Instagram, that's the thing. The reels and the content creation made it look so easy because the videos are 30 seconds. They don't realize how much time that you really have to put into it. Like, it's literally a blood, sweat, and tears process. And people are not realizing this. They like, oh, I'm not going to school. I'm gonna go take this trade up for 12 months and I'm gonna get right into Nails by Keisha. That's gonna be my name on Instagram. Nails by Keisha. That's it. I'm done. I can't do this. I can't work at this job no more. And it's like, don't quit your job before you have the clientele. Like, you jumping because you seen somebody else shoot up there what you thought. Because of you're looking at it. You might have just followed them yesterday. And she done made a reel like, yeah, I can teach you how to make $40,000 in a week. And it sound good. Not saying that it's impossible. But you're not putting in the work. You're just looking at it like it's an easy get out of the mud situation, and it's not. You jump right back into it, and actually you're working nonstop.
That's the part.
Like,
That's the part.
A job is 40 hours at the most.
Or, yes.
And a little bit of overtime. But I be working, even when I'm not supposed to be working.
Yeah.
When
And
I'm
we be
mommy
texting
and
each
I'm
other.
working.
I mean, we're like,
So,
why you still
no,
up? What
it's
you
not,
doing?
It's not easy.
And it's like, there's a lot of different things, like when it comes to even just the production of this podcast. Like, I sit here and I speak to people, but people don't recognize what I've done as far as the research aspect.
Right.
As far as understanding or reading books, even, because books is a big part of my podcast. Because I get annoyed by this idea that we don't tap into knowledge because we choose not to access it. So for me, I feel like if you are not the person to read the book, I can read the book, and then I can summarize the book,
Right.
and then I can tell people about the book. And so I feel like that is one of the things that I'm supposed to do, is to be the consumer of information and knowledge so that I can pass it along, because I just want us to all succeed. And what you spoke to earlier is that you are confident in your skill set because you know you are good in your skill set, and it doesn't matter who else is doing the same thing.
Right.
You know that you do what you do,
Right.
and you do it well. And I think people need to understand that there is literally space for everybody at the table.
Exactly. If
But you gotta
if you belong there.
But you gotta push
But
yourself
yes.
up to the table.
Yes,
You gotta get a chair.
exactly.
Step one. You
Yes.
gotta know where the table is. So in other words, you gotta meet your clients. And for me, you met me at the park.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not sure how you met everybody else, but I know that at that time I was only going to the park, the grocery, and Isabella's baby appointments.
Yes.
So it's not like I was going outside
Anywhere.
doing a lot of different things.
Right.
And I just think that you got to meet people where they are. And I also want people to know I'm always talking about not my struggle for the sake of talking about woe is me, but I want people to understand that even though it might look like I went from this to that, I want people to know that there's a story behind it.
Exactly.
And it's especially when it comes to social media, because on social media, they're not seeing my tears. They're not seeing my breakdowns.
Exactly.
They're not seeing my
Exactly.
the times when I'm questioning myself, when I'm thinking, you know, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? They're not
doing.
seeing all of that. They're
Right.
just seeing that I sit here week after week and I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
But they don't understand what's going on
behind the scenes.
right. And I just
Right.
feel like it's important that I let people know about the internal stuff, so that when they are dealing with their own internal stuff, they can know that they're not alone, and they can know that it's not just them in whatever it is that they're in,
going through. Right.
that you can get out of it and that you can push forward. And I think the other thing I want to talk about is how we don't have to be the product of our environment.
Exactly.
Just because you grew up where you did and you've seen what you have, and even in my life, what I've gone through and what I've seen, if I was just to go according to that, my life could be looking a completely different.
Right.
You know, but I chose to believe that even though people are doing different things, that I can achieve at least going to school. You know, that's one thing I can do. Now, I joke and I always tell people that I'm good at school, not really at life, because at
both.
school, you know, they give you a syllabi or syllabus, however way you want to say the word. And the point is they give you what you need to do. But in life, I feel like there's so much gray area.
Right.
There's so much you can do this, or there's so many choices.
Right.
And I feel like, especially in my 40s, I'm at a place where, for me, making the right choice isn't just about me anymore. It's about me and my child.
Exactly.
And it's about what's going to be a good idea for us and what's going to be a good move for us as a unit. And so when I'm talking to you, a lot of the times, I don't feel like there's a huge difference in our age.
Right. No, we
You
have
know-
a good time.
You know, and I feel like I definitely know that I learn from you.
Yeah, we learn
And
from each other.
I feel like you are a person where if I tell you about a book, if I tell you about a program, if I tell you about anything about business as it pertains to the formation of an LLC or how to go about anything, if I give you the resource, you are on it.
Yes.
It's not something where I have to keep asking you, did you do this or do any follow-up, because you will come and you will show me. It was one of the best days when you showed me your business plan, and you were showing me your pitch, because that is having a pitch, having a business plan, having a pitch deck is something that is a tool of the trade.
Right.
And a lot of times people don't even recognize and realize that a lot of opportunity comes when you are prepared.
Exactly.
And in you, I know that all you need is that one something, and then it's going to be like this.
Exactly.
And, because you do too much stuff.
Right.
And you do it at a high level of excellence. It's not like you just, because a lot of the times when people do things, something be falling off.
Right.
Not with you. Like
you either.
Everything you do is top tier. So I'm just like, I'm at awe just to know that you're doing it, and you're doing it with poise, you're doing it with pride, and you're doing it with a smile at your age.
Thank you.
And I mean, it's just like, when I was your age, I'm trying to think, all I was doing was going to work, because I felt like that's all I could do. I wasn't, as far as thinking outside, I didn't even know I was in a box. Right. I was just on the conveyor belt of go to school, go to work, and that was what I thought my life was. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I got older. Honestly, I was at church one time, and notice I said one time, and I was in the pastor. He was like, he asked the question, he was like, are you doing what you are supposed to do, or are you just doing what you're good at?
That's a good one.
And I was just like, I said, I got to sit and think about this.
Right.
Because I had never really stopped to think. And I feel like at this point in my life, I just don't have time for drama and problems. Not that I can avoid all of it, but I do feel like I can avoid a lot that I feel like we create drama for ourselves. And I want to know, in your life, have you seen that?
I wouldn't say that. Sometimes you have people in your life that bring drama to you because of the stuff that they into. Mm-hmm. I could touch base on that from so many angles, but I wouldn't dare give people the time to be a part of where I'm going. Like, it's 2025, it's a new year. Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy just to say it, though.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. But I don't know. I'm just on to new things. We can avoid stuff as much as we want to. I will say that.
But life is still going life.
But life is going life. The devil is busy. You could be walking past somebody. They say some fly stuff. You got the choice to continue walking or stop. Like, you just never know. You could have woke up and having a good day. And it's how you choose to respond to things. And I'm learning to respond different because I have a lot to lose. Now, if I had nothing to lose, I'll give people what they asking me
but
for.
Sometimes, and the Leo in me, I gotta take time.
Oh. I have people that don't got nothing to lose. But I have things to lose, and I got a son, and he depends on me. That's all I think about every time. I'm tested every day, and I think about my son every time. Anything that I do, I think about my son. I'm thinking about my son right now. But
that's what they don't tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm sitting here watching on my phone.
I hope he having a good day.
Right.
But yeah, I have too much to get back home to. Like I have too much to make it back home to. Too much to take care of. Too much to lose. When you putting your odds up against people who have nothing and people who want to bring you to where they at, you just gotta wave stuff off. Like, that's it. I had to learn to do that. So, yeah,
I feel
like that.
One of the things that I want to make sure that we focus on while we're talking about all the things that you do, if you could talk about what you have brought in studio today.
Okay. Yes. So, also not on top of me doing hair, I sell skincare products that I make from scratch. Everything is made natural products. I have skincare. I have a 3-step skincare line. What made me even start that up is because I suffered from acne for years. My skin actually used to be in a very horrible state.
You would never know looking at it.
No, well, I got this little makeup on and all of that. But I learned how to manage my breakouts and, with proper intake of certain foods and water and things in that sort. But I realized that outside of my teenage years, I still was having acne. So it's like, now I'm an adult. Why is my face still going crazy like this?
Right.
And I looked into some stuff. I looked into natural. Because when I was using over-the-counter, when my dermatologist was recommending things, it would break me out even more. Like now, on top of that, I'm having like blotches of, stuff just going on with my face that is annoying. I don't want to have to cover up every day. I don't like wearing makeup every day. But at one point, I did have to, or I felt like I had to, because now the consequence of the acne is the blemishes. So last year, December, I came out with Rejuvenate because my slogan is your hair deserves to be fed. Like, feed your hair and feed your skin. So it's Rejuven and then 8 in parentheses because your skin and hair deserves to be fed too. We forget about these things as busy women and moms, and it's even for men too. I've had actually a lot of my clients for my skincare are men. Surprisingly, men are doing real good with that grooming between last year and this year. And everybody got a beard now, so they trying to have the skin matching the beard and this and that. So yeah, I have the 3-step skincare line. The step 1 is the soap bar. And the soap bar is to cleanse your skin. That is with, I have like aloe vera in there. I have honey, shea, all natural. And then the step 2 is the scrub, which is for exfoliating and helping with clearing up those blemishes as well. And then I want people to know too, you also have to use sunscreen when you're taking care of your skin. But because my step 3 has coconut and other things in there, you're already protected. You already have that layer of protection. So step 3 is needed after doing all of that, stripping the skin of its nutrients and things in that sort before you go back outside. As far as my hair oil goes, it's for the breakage, strengthening the hair. I use it on my son. I use it on myself.
And me.
Yes. All of my clients, actually, all of my clients. I've actually been using my hair oil for years before I even had a logo. So I've been making hair oil for however long, and I just used to put it in a bottle, and I'll let my clients know, hey, I'm using this. Is that all right? Everybody's not okay with just putting stuff in their natural hair, so this is something we have to make sure we're very aware of. But yeah, these are my products. I took a leap. I made my logos myself. I came up with my name myself. Like, I really had a conversation with God. I'm like, this is something that I want to do. I just need the direction. And it's small, but we working on it. I feel like I get a lot of sales off word of mouth, and I get a lot of good feedback from it also. I love it. It changed my life. But I have people who also feel the same as I do about my products. So I'm very thankful for that. And we're coming into a new year. This will be my second lap. And let's just see how things go.
I love all of that.
Thank you.
Because I feel like we need to take time to celebrate our wins as women, as moms, and just as people. And I heard this quote today, and I'm going to try to say it correctly. But essentially, let me see. She said, treat your wins the same way that you treat your losses.
That's true.
And I said, huh. So, in other words, we tend to cling to when we don't succeed.
Exactly.
Especially in our minds when it comes to, because a lot of the times it's not even what somebody else says to you. For me, I know that I have this tape in my mind of stuff that I've told myself, whether somebody else has told it to me or I've heard it along the way of I'm not good enough or this or that. So it's like I have to battle that in my mind just to, put one foot in front of the other. But just realizing that I need to put emphasis on the good stuff, that I shouldn't just, or if somebody tells me something nice, because normally if somebody tells me something nice, it doesn't even like hit me. But then if somebody says something off to me, then it's all the way penetrating.
It sticks to you.
It's all the way in my
sticking. Right, right.
But it's like, how come when somebody tells me something nice, that's the first thing for me to be like, oh, well, that she don't mean it, or, I'm not cute or whatever. Like, I'm always something that's negative, I internalize. But it's funny because I will get like multiple DMs and stuff of positivity, but then I'll get like the 3 or 4 negative somebodies, and those are the ones that I sit and fixate on, and I'm like, why am I like this?
Yeah, no, I think everybody do that. It's just like it eats at you. You hold on to it even when you're not supposed to. But I did hear that before too. Like to hold on to my wins the same way. It's so true. Like it's a part of everything is a part of the process. Everything goes hand in hand. So that's true.
I like that. Because I feel like there also in social media, there's this idea that you can just go from this to that. And when you take into consideration that everything is a part of your story, not just the yay moments, not just the moments of celebration, but, it's the mindset, it's the mentality, it's the people you have around you, it's the vision board or your thoughts or whatever it is it's all of these elements that come together that make you into the woman you are and that make your brand into what you want it to be. So I just want people to understand that it's the brick by brick.
Right.
And it's the step by step.
Exactly.
And yes, there are times when theoretically there's a door. Somebody is at the door and they open the door because they see you coming. That does happen. But the important thing that I want people to understand is nobody can open a door for you if they don't first see you working.
Right.
If no one sees you doing any effort, how's anybody ever going to come along and join your team or join what it is you're doing? And so I feel like it's always important for us to find ways to uplift one another and to support one another. And my favorite thing to do is to support a Black business. Because whenever you come to my house, you're like, Tasha, what is this that you bought?
So true.
You're like, what is this? And I'm like, I was somewhere. And you were like, what you going to use this for? I said, listen, I'm supporting a black business.
Exactly.
And I just feel like, a lot of the times, I don't know if you've experienced this, where people will want a discount, but yet they will pay top tier price when it comes to other stuff, but they want a discount when it comes to what it is you doing. And it's just like, first of all, I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Second of all, time is money, so you're trying to waste my time and you want a discount. Like, does that annoy you, or am I the only somebody that's bothered?
Well, I feel like people know not to play with me now. like, I'm cool. But all that, you want your hair done today, and could you pay me next week, or could I get this I don't do that. I'm sorry. And I work from home. Let's clock that T. I feel like you put it what you need out there before you get to where you're supposed to be. Period. Because you don't start right when you get. I'm not gonna start right when I get my hair salon to be this way. It's gonna be like, oh, she done switched up. You understand? You work your way towards that. I know my worth. Maybe before, when I was 15, you could get a silk and a weave full head for $50. I'm not doing that no more. Sorry, it don't work like that. Today, thank you. And it ain't about who hair I've did or any of that. No, the price is the price. Go on my website, you see it.
I like that part, the website.
It is what it is. And
you've had a website since day one, first of all.
I did. It wasn't all the way together, but
it sure was. And I was able to click on it and put my name in there. I felt so official. I got an email and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
It says you got an appointment with me.
Yes, ma'am. And then a reminder. Seriously. So.
I know.
But no, people know what and what not to do with me. I'm sorry. And I'm cool. I'm sweet. I'm very lenient. I don't have a policy that start from the top to the bottom. I don't have none of that. But you're not about to ask me for no discounts. You see when I do give backs. You see when I do giveaways and all of that stuff. Participate. Hey.
So what I wanted you to talk about real fast before we end this episode is your future hopes and goals and aspirations, given that we are still in January. But it's crazy because it's like 2025 just started and it's like it's about to be February, Black History Month already. So what is it that people can do to help you to achieve your next step that you're working towards?
What can the people do? I feel like the only thing that I would need is funding. Like for the stuff that I want to do, like the biggest thing that I do want to do. My thing is for the youth. Like I'm all for the youth. I feel like the generation is going crazy. And with everybody trying to be an entrepreneur, they need mentor. Like they need mentorships, they need guidance, things in that sort. So I do want to continue to do hair and stuff like that, but it needs to be taught properly, proper etiquette, how to treat people, things in that sort. So my only hope would be funding, like because it'll be a large amount, honestly. Other than that, I got the voice. Right. Like I got everything else down pat. Literally. It would be funding and networking and getting myself to the right people. Like,
the right clients.
Yes, the right clients, but no, like literally to the right people. Because everybody that you associate with might not be a client, but they can support you in other ways.
Right.
So that's why I would say, you know, like the right people.
That makes sense. Because I tell people, like, even if you don't want to listen or watch my podcast, you might know somebody that does.
Yeah.
And all you got to say is just type in Tasha Ray, Womanhood Decoded. That's all you got to say.
Exactly.
Like, and what I want people to understand is support is free.
It is.
Unless I'm telling you about, you know, something for you to purchase, it's free. And so another thing I am excited about is, if you didn't know, there is going to be a mama meetup of the Mama's Den podcast is today. And it's this evening, and I'm excited to be able to meet up with some of my podcast friends and to cover that event as a photojournalist. And again, I'm only able to do so because of the support of my village.
Amen.
And I feel like if I didn't have the support of others, then there's no way that I would be able to do all that I'm trying to do.
Right.
And so if you could, before we end this episode, let people know where they can find you on their phone, on Instagram or whatever, if you can tell them your handle. So they can find you.
Of course.
So, and spell it for the people, because not everybody's not good at spelling. You know, some people was at the back of the class.
Okay, well, my main page, my Instagram, you can find everything from there, both my hair care and my skin care, which is tamia.yanique. So it's going to be TAMIA, period, YAHNIQUE. Simple. And I'm there. I should be the first thing that pop up. Oh, and you can actually Google me, and I will be the first thing that pop up. Both of my businesses. So I'm thankful for that.
And also about my edges. People are always wondering about my edges and the thing that you did, the head thing. What is it called?
Oh, well, I sell those, the bath edge wraps. Yeah, so we use that so that she don't sweat her hair out.
Because I be doing the most sweating.
This lady is
But my
crazy.
edges don't look like what I go through.
They don't, thank God. Oh, you get you right. Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
She
like,
gets a silk press every Tuesday. Like, that's
and look at
unheard
it. It's
of.
all
And her hair is
connected.
very healthy.
I always tell people,
we do really well with her hair.
yeah, and I was telling people, they're like, why you don't want to be at a salon? I'm like, for what? I can listen to my music, and I can smoke if I want to, even though you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
But throw that in there.
Even though you don't. Yes, I do smoke, and when I smoke cannabis, to be clear. It's not cigarettes, and
yeah, we don't do
particularly
I have a
sativa.
headache.
that I have
Ain't
gotten.
smoking no bogeys around me.
Because I feel like it's important for the people to understand that there's a lot of different ways to navigate emotions and things. But for me, sativa has been the answer to a lot that I have had to manage, whether it is my anxiety and me being able to be present and all of that. It takes the edge off, and it's like I hyper focuses me,
Right.
you know, but not everybody has that same experience. But anyway, I go to a federally a dispensary that got a sticker on it that says that there's no extra stuff, because if you, I'm serious.
I believe
like
you.
As a
I
mom,
know. You know. I know.
you know, as a mom, if I were to go outside, for example, and go buy some weed, I don't know what he put
Exactly.
into it or what she put into
Where
it.
they
I don't know.
mixing it at.
I don't know what they
When
tried
it
to
at.
stretch it out with oregano or what. I don't know what it is. But I know that if I go somewhere with a sticker on it that says New York dispensary, blah, 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 then I know that I can shop there confidently. So I like,
Potent.
yes, it is. She's talking about the potency because of a, we'll get into that for another
Next
episode.
episode, yeah, another time.
So, again, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Hopefully, something that we spoke about today resonated with you. I will be here same place, same time on Friday for my second podcast, which is Red Lipstick Conversations. Again, I am your host, Tasha Ray, and in studio with me is
Tamia Yannick.
And until next time, bye, everybody.
Bye.
You can turn off mine.
How-